You are listening to 105.9 FM The Radiator, WOMMLP Burlington, and now begins Rocket Shop Radio Hour. I'm your host, Abby BK, and tonight we have Jacob Green with us. How are you doing, Jacob?
Good. How's it going?
Great. So we usually like to kick off the show with a song. So
Okay,
what have
cool.
you got for us?
So usually when I live anywhere long enough, I've only been in Vermont about 4 years, I end up writing some type of local, regional songs. It's called the Green Mountain Blues. Summer extra sweet, that cold wind blows strong. You start to crave that heat every place that I roam. It's such little concrete, our Green Mountain home. Keep me grounded in my feet. I've been down in blue, I've been out of tune, I've been out my mind while I holler at the moon. But I'm done counting dues, I'm bound to be true, true to my soul. Read these Green Mountain Blues, yeah. Way up on that hill, you can hear that wind moan. It gives you a chill, shivers down to your bones. But if you listen real still, you can hear a sacred tone. It's all in goodwill in my Green Mountain home, yeah. I've been down in blue, I've been out of tune, I've been out my mind while I holler at the moon. I'm done counting dues, I'm bound to be true, true to my soul. Read these Green Mountain Blues, yeah. When the winter is long, make a summer extra sweet. I'm going to do one thing and interrupt you real quick, Abby. I'm going to hit stop and hit record again because I added a second mic for your tambourine.
You got it.
But I can't add it until I
Oh,
do that.
sweet.
And hit record again. Whoops. Yeah, this is live rate community radio.
Live community
People.
radio.
Keeping it
There
alive.
we go. Keeping it real. Now we're good.
All right. Well, that was an awesome way to start off the show. Green
Thank you.
Mountain Blues was the name.
Yep, it's a fairly new song.
Awesome. So, can you kind of explain to us, when did you come to Vermont? And obviously, the folk scene here in Vermont is pretty big. So, how has it been kind of playing in a genre that's so awesome here?
It's been great. I moved here, the September 2017. My daughter was born in October 2017, so was kind of living all around the country for a while, the vagabond lifestyle. And so basically, right before my daughter was born, I started to settle down a little bit. My partner is originally from St. Johnsbury, Vermont, and yeah, we live in the Northeast Kingdom now. And overall, where I live, it's slightly a different scene, but I play all over the state, so it's great to just be appreciated for what you do. And it's, honestly, I have a really busy schedule, and the bulk of my shows, the venues reached out to me, so it's kind of cool after like 4 years of really playing a lot that now I don't have to work as hard to book myself, so.
Right. Establishing yourself.
Totally.
So, kind of take us through, how did you get started with music, and what was your inspiration to get into folk?
Folk, man, I don't know. Well, I started music, technically I was like 10 years old. I used to play violin in orchestra, but I was not very good at it. I was really good at just kind of playing along, and, I probably picked up some rhythm and whatnot, but I was never really good at learning through reading music, so better by my ear. And then I was about 14, I bought an electric guitar, was like big into punk and kind of rock at that point, and kind of was off and on the electric guitar for a while, nothing too serious. And then when I was 20, 21, I got my first acoustic guitar, and that's when I just started writing way more like folk and blues, or overall kind of roots music and whatnot. And slowly I've taught myself like slide guitar or banjo sometimes, or mandolin, and I got a couple different cigar box guitars, which I'll be playing one of them later. So, and yeah, it's been a slow but natural progression, and basically since I was about 23, I'm 37 now, I was attempting to make a living at music. And I wasn't really successful at it till I became a one-man band, this whole setup, in about 2013 or 2014, somewhere around there. So,
Gotcha. So, can you kind of explain your whole one-man band setup, because it's super cool. You're obviously doing a lot at once,
totally.
and obviously the people listening in can't see what we see. So, kind of take
Right.
us through what your setup is, and kind of how that all came to be too.
Well, I've always liked certain one-man bands, like Xavier Rudd's a favorite. This cool guy named Juzzy Smith. They're both out of Australia, and I'm drawing a blank here. But yeah, my setup is I basically have this stomp box, which is 2x4s in plywood, and you just put a little kick drum mic, has a little hole on the side, and that gives it that extra thump. I wear a foot tambourine on my left foot, so between the 2 feet, they're making a pretty simple beat. And I switch off between different string instruments, and I'll play different harmonicas for the lead parts and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, it can be challenging doing lead when you're doing so much at once, but after so much of doing it, you just it becomes like a muscle memory. It's like riding a bike. So, and that actually happens in the summer a lot. The schedule slows down so much, you almost feel like you get rusty. And then as soon as you start playing a lot, it's like I don't have to think about really anything I'm doing anymore. So, yeah, I guess this will be the 9th year I've been doing a one-man band. So
Wow.
no coincidence that that's how I was able to make a living, because, you're solo and whatnot. I still play with a full band on occasion for bigger events and whatnot, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you kind of have a preference for like playing in your one-man band, or do you enjoy playing with your fuller band when you have the opportunity? Do you kind of have a preference there?
I really enjoy both. I mean, there's when you play a great show as a one-man band, you're sharing the energy with the crowd, and so like when it's a really good show and you kind of know it's like you're the only one doing everything, it's a whole nother level of gratification or satisfaction. And with a full band, you're sharing the energy between the members, and like so for the most part, I play hopefully with good band members, so we're making good music, sharing the energy. But and then you can put on a whole nother type of set or show with a full band, obviously with a lead guitar player, drums and what. Like drummer can obviously do more than what I can do on the stomp box, but it really I don't know. It's kind of relative to the show, but I definitely enjoy playing as a one man band, and I really like doing like when I record songs, I do both versions of the same song. So it'll be like one man band version, full band version, and then you kind of just release whatever's more appropriate for the song and whatnot. So
Yeah, I was going to ask that. I was going to say, do you ever have a case scenario where there's like a song that you specifically just imagine or hear the sounds to be with the full band versus just playing solo, or do you typically do what you said and do, both versions?
yeah, definitely. I think overall anything with like slide guitars and it's kind of more foot stomping blues sort of style, that usually normally is more one man band. I probably have more blues as a solo act than with a band. Then with a band, it can be more folky or a little more rock and whatnot. So I mean, I have some full band songs. It's like lead guitar, bass, drum, backup singers, piano, violin. Yeah, some of them like that. But I guess I only have so many like that, and I mean, I just love almost hearing the different versions for myself. But sometimes it's hard to choose, honestly.
Yeah. What was the process of finding the other musicians to play behind you? Were those kind of people that kind of found you along the way? Were those people that you sought out specific sounds for the certain type of sound that you were going for?
Um, Honestly, I've been in quite a few bands over the years, different parts over the country and whatnot. But for the most part, we, just kind of both naturally heard of each other, or some have reached out to me, or sometimes same show will be in passing. But like one of the drummers I've been playing with, he went to high school with me. We've been playing together for like 20 years. So he lives in Wisconsin. So, but like anytime he comes out here, we'll like set up a whole weekend of shows and whatnot, kind of like a mini tour for the full band. And yeah, but for the most part, I've naturally just ran into them at the right time. I haven't had the best experience with connecting people online. Like, I'd rather kind of meet you in person first. Like, to me, it's like almost more important that you're a good person and you're gonna play well. Like, how talented you are is kind of second to that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a sort of vetting process with that, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I mean, I've played with really incredible players who sometimes have a huge ego, and then other players who are kind of mediocre, but they really love the music and they put like their heart and soul into it more when they play. And so I think I almost prefer that a little more, but sometimes you get both.
Yeah.
So.
Well, great. We would love to hear another song. So, what have you got for us?
Different guitar here. So I'm originally from Wisconsin. I haven't lived there in, I think it's 10 years now, but this is a song. This is an old song. It's on my latest album, but I revamped it. And it's just a kind of a straight blues song. And yeah, it's called "I Need to Leave," but just a reference, I'm talking about my hometown and wanting to get out of there. So it's not autobiographical at the moment for Vermont or anything. So. It's called I Need to Leave. Misunderstood my friends and family. Well, I can barely stand. Don't know how they stand in me. I need to leave. I need to leave. I see what I wanna see. Be who I'm gonna be. I need to leave. Well, I can barely breathe. My lungs have grown so weak. Now, brother, can't you see? There's so much land to see. I need to leave. I need to leave. I'll be free as I wanna be. I'll see what I wanna see. I need to leave. This here guitar, I know I got to go. No matter how near or far, I need to leave. I need to leave. I'll be free as I wanna be. I'll see what I wanna see. I need to leave. Rapid heartbeat from such anxiety. I love this city, but it's gonna be the death of me. I need to leave. I need to leave. See what I wanna see. Be who I'm gonna be. I need to live.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So, as you aforementioned, you recently just released a double album. Can you
Yes.
kind of talk to
too
us
much.
about that? So, I mean, I feel like just the idea of a double album is super unique. So,
Totally.
yeah, how'd you get the idea to do that?
So I've been wanting to put out like an all blues album or somewhat blues based because I could just get such a great response from my blues stuff. And again, there's like best of both worlds. I have a lot of full band blues stuff and a lot of one man band blues stuff. And so that's basically the album's called Coexistence, and it's kind of the coexistence of the first disc is all one man band, so that's all me, and then the second disc is all full band. And then when I put like, digital singles out, you'll get the alternate versions. But the actual song Coexistence is more talking about how we need to coexist with each other a little better overall, hopefully. And so that's kind of the theme of it. And it's predominantly blues based, or my version of blues, I guess. It's kind of swampy rock or something. But yeah, that's the concept, I suppose.
Yeah. So, what is your sort of songwriting process? Can you take us through that? Do you typically, write lyrics first? Do you kind of think of a tune? Do you start with your instruments?
Predominantly, usually lyrics with a melody will come at very random times, sometimes very inconvenient times, especially like right before I go to bed, and I don't write it down and forget it forever. But yeah, overall, the lyrics and melody comes first, and then that is kind of shaping where the chord progression is going to go. But then other times, when I have opportunity to just kind of like jam and improvise on my guitar, I'll like a lick so much that eventually I'll write lyrics or a melody to it. But I basically learned like a long time ago, I just try never to like force any lyrics or the melody really. I just, when it's the music first, I just kind of like play it over and over until something comes out. And sometimes even like a verse and a chorus, like one verse and one chorus will all come at once, and then I won't finish the second verse or third till 6 months to 6 years later, just depending.
Yeah.
I just never try to force it, so I'd like to think they all come naturally. And yeah, I used to just travel a lot, so you just got lots of inspiration being out on the road and meeting all sorts of people and all that good stuff. So
Yeah. So, the compilation of songs that are on the double album, are those songs that you have written? Like, what's the time span there? Are they more recently written, or are those some songs like spanning back from like 6 years, like you said, that you've been sitting on?
it's a mix. I'd like to say it's like 50-50, not like one album's and old and one's new. It's like both albums are 50-50 mix. Yeah, at least half of it's like new, as in the last year or two written, and then some of them are, man, I think like one or two might be like 2009. But it's also like, because I used to kind of like put out too much material like in the moment, and so a lot of them like the one I just did, it's like a revamped version and something that to me is much more a professional version than I might have put out like many years ago, which there isn't really copies of or anything online anyways. So it's kind of going through that back catalog and seeing what's worth redoing, and then combined with whatever new songs have been written in the last year or two. But I'm trying to get to a point where I don't revamp anything old, and then I'm just only releasing new stuff. But I kind of have a problem having too many songs, but it's like 14 years of songwriting or something, so I don't know.
It's not the worst problem to have.
I know, right?
So,
Musician issues. But.
Yeah, right. What is sort of your recording process nowadays? How did you record your double album? Did you go to a studio? Do you do any of that yourself?
I did it all at my home studio, except for the full band album, I recorded all the drums at a professional studio, because I feel like with my home studio, like the one-man band setup, I got down really good. And overall, the full band, like almost everything but the drums, I mean, I probably could record them better. But when my buddy from Wisconsin,
well, he came out here in 2019. We recorded, I think, 40 drum tracks, and it was like some might make it, some might not. Sometimes I even like chop up stuff and turn it into a different song, but that's kind of rare for the studio stuff. But yeah, so it's all from my home studio.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Is it sort of hard to know, I guess, like, which songs make the cut for the album? I feel like with the double album, you have a bit more freedom because, you know, the idea can include more songs on there.
Totally.
But if you write a lot of songs, is that kind of a problem that you sometimes have? Like, you don't know which ones to release?
Yeah, well, and like I said, I was trying to make this one blues based, so there's definitely like a handful of other songs that could have made it, and then like in the end, it just kind of. It also depends on like how they line up. You know, you listen to them side by side and see what kind of flows the best. But I think that's always a challenge because you know, what you think is your best song, your listeners could think it's your worst song, or they could think some other random song is your best song from what you put out, and that's definitely happened many times before. So I don't know. It's a gamble, but it's all good.
Yeah, a calculated gamble, though.
Totally, yes.
So we would love to hear your third song for the night. So what have you got?
This is in the style of a cigar box guitar. This is made by my buddy Mark May. He's out of Wisconsin too, and he actually gave me this guitar, so I guess he sponsored me in a way or something. Oh, and this next one, it's called Blade of Grass, and it's kind of talking about, this is written just about a year ago, and it's talking about how, like, newer appliances don't work as well as old ones that are champions and whatnot, so it's kind of showing my age or something, I don't know. All right, I'll Blade of Grass. To be bulletproof, stick it with glue, call it new. Man, I'm only speaking the truth. Everything made for convenience, nothing made with a conscience. Surely didn't think of the consequence. Man, it don't make much sense. I ain't trying to go back, live in the past. But these modern things seem to break so fast. Yeah, they used to be built and made to last. Yeah, we used to be green as a blade of grass. As a blade of grass. Surely don't make it like they used to. Man, take a look at the youth. I ain't trying to step on nobody's shoes. Man, I'm only speaking the truth. Everyone begun so sensitive. It's like we're even more primitive. Ain't much of a coincidence. So many illiterate. I ain't trying to go back and live in the past. But these modern things seem to break so fast. Yeah, they used to be built and made to last.
blade of grass. As a blade of grass. As a blade of grass. As a blade of grass.
By Jacob Green. So, what are your next projects that you're working on? Are you playing this album out? Do you have some gigs lined up? Are you touring? What are you working on?
Yeah, I have many gigs. I'm kind of booked till October as of now.
Nice.
I'm playing a local gig at Switchback on June 12th, and it's wish I could remember the time, but it's an afternoon gig, so it'll be outdoors, hopefully, given the weather. And, yeah, you can find all my shows at jacobgreenmusic.com, and there's, like, a gigs section and whatnot. And, yeah, no tours, really. I'm doing, like, a little mini tour in September down in Massachusetts, but nothing too crazy. I kind of go anywhere in, like, a 4-hour radius. I'll go to upstate New York, New Hampshire, occasionally Maine, occasionally Massachusetts. So mainly Vermont, though. So I unfortunately have found plenty of places to play in the whole state. So
gotcha. Nice. Well, we also always give all of our artists the opportunity to really promote themselves. So besides just looking for your, locations and times for your gigs, is there anything else you'd like to say where we can find your music or anything of that kind of sort?
Yeah, you can. All my stuff is in the digital world. I think my digital distributor goes to like 30 different stores or something, so you can pretty much find it on any streaming platform. And I'm always promoting my YouTube, which is Jacob Green Music Official, and pretty much almost to the point of monetizing that. So, and you can find me on Facebook, Instagram. I do some goofy stuff on TikTok and whatnot, but all that good stuff,
Awesome. All of the platforms, right?
Definitely. Too many
it.
sometimes, too many to keep up with, but I guess it comes with the job. So
yeah, and the changing world of technology.
And I guess I'll say this is like the third album I put out in like 3 years. So if you find me and you like it, there's a lot to listen to, I suppose. So
there you go. Well, all of our listeners now have a task. There you go. All right. Well, what do you have for us for your last song?
See if I got enough energy for this one. Well, this is the title track. It's slightly different, but it's a one-man band on the album, so this is called Coexistence. And yeah, this is a little more upbeat version with the clear message that we got to find a way to coexist.
Oh, you're digging, getting mighty deep. That hill you're climbing, getting awfully steep. Them things you read will give you awful dreams. It makes you weak and feel reign supreme. I don't know much, but I do know this. Things get stronger more than you guess. So it's your choice to be negative or positive. It's just a perspective. But it's like you're hanging by a thread. Hard to tell you're alive or dead. We could find bliss through consciousness. We gotta find a way to coexist. There's so much hate in those things you say. I hope by now you find a better way. No need to wait to throw it all away. No need to waste another day. I don't know much, but I do know enough. Enough to know that when you hold a grudge, your heart will slowly start closing up. The hole is shut and then your soul is stuck. But it's like you're hanging by a thread. Hard to tell you're alive or dead. We could find bliss through consciousness. Gotta find a way to coexist. We gotta find a way to coexist. Gotta find a way to coexist. We gotta find a way to coexist. Gotta find a way to coexist.
Coexistence by Jacob Green. Jacob, thank you so much for sharing your music with us tonight.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
And just so all of our listeners know, there will not be Rocket Shop next week, but we will be back on June 8th with Autumn Chamberlain. This has been Rocket Shop Radio Hour on 105.9 FM, The Radiator, WOMMLP. I've been your host, Abby BK, and good night.
Thank you.